This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Monday, September 22nd, 2008, and this is episode 465 of Walt Disney World Today. I'm Len Testa, your host. With me, as always, the indefatigable Mike Scopa. How's it going, Scopa?
We are doomed.
The Jets.
New England Patriots.
Oh, go Steelers.
Shut up.
Oh, my goodness.
That is Pierre in the Tiki Room.
Oh, nice. All right. And also with us, as always, the effervescent Mike Newell.
I don't know what that means, but it sounds nice.
It means bubbly, doesn't it?
Oh, okay. I can do that.
I think he means he wants to date you.
That too. And returning back from conquering Disneyland, it is the fabulous Annette Owens.
Hi, guys. Thanks for letting me come back.
And as our replacement for Hotchberg, who we really can't believe got married, it's Chris Eliopoulos of DesperateTimes.com. How's it going, Chris?
Good. You know, they call marriage an institution because you have to be crazy to get into it. So
I was, if I would have gotten invited to Hotchberg's wedding, which I didn't, and not that I'm bitter or anything, I would have. No, I'm not bitter or anything. No, I'm not bitter. I would have used my favorite Nietzsche quote of all time. It is marriage is the ending of many small follies with one long stupidity. See, I wonder why I didn't get invited to the wedding. I figure that's got to be it right there. Yeah, I know.
think I'm gonna cry.
I think he was a lifelong bachelor, actually. I can't figure out how.
All I know is I got a text yesterday morning at 7 a.m. Something about a helicopter in Mexico. All
right, so for our listeners, I was texting Hotchberg starting about Wednesday with like, dude, just say the word. I'll get a chopper in the air. I'll pick you up. We'll go to Mexico until this whole thing blows over. Did it like every 3 hours. I'm like, dude, seriously, we could be sipping tequila inside of 8 hours.
Oh my gosh.
And then every other message would be, hey, Marissa, how's it going? Oh, by the way, that offer stands for you too.
I've got it right here, Len. You sent it.
I know, I did. I sent it to everyone.
Matt, I've got a helicopter on standby just in case. Say the word, brother, and we'll be sipping mojitos in Acapulco.
you even got me at the act too.
Right?
I know. I texted Eliopoulos because I figured we could all. Well, Chris, you texted Matt too, right?
I sent it Friday night, I believe.
So we're all texting Hotchberg saying, "Dude, seriously, if you want to back out, we can cover for you."
Well, the poor guy. He's at the rehearsal dinner and the rehearsal party and stuff, and you guys are telling him to back out.
Awesome.
No. I'm saying I was supporting whatever decision he would make. It's completely
is that
different.
what you're saying?
I wasn't telling him to back out. I was just saying, just say the word. If you want to, whatever decision he was going to make, we were going to be there for him. And I think really, as friends, that's all we can do. Or Marissa. We offered it to Marissa too. I mean, let's face it. Matt's not Mr. Perfect.
That's wonderful. That's awesome.
Anyway, all right. So
did he actually go through with it though? Is there?
No one called me for the helicopter, but then again, no one called to say he actually did it either. So
yeah,
I guess this is as good as mine.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Friday, they were at the rehearsal party. I know they showed up in.
I'm pretty sure that doesn't make you legally married, though.
I would agree.
Not yet, but everything was going well then.
All right.
No helicopter.
All right, so the topic of today's show, episode 465, is good places to nap inside the parks. And I believe this came from when who was going, shh?
I'm sorry.
Was that a beer opening in it? Was that what that was? That something was? Okay.
She's getting ready.
Well, Annette pops open a cold Pabst Blue Ribbon. Well, let's start with Mike Scopa. Scopa, I believe this was your fabulous idea. And you know what, Mike? I think that you come up with a lot of great ideas on the show. I don't know if they were always recognized by the former host of this show. Let me just say that I appreciate the hard work, dedication, and thought that you put into this show, even when we're not actually on.
Thank you, Leonard. I really appreciate the acknowledgement, and I'm sure that I agree with you on everything you just said. I'll tell you how this came up. There's been some discussion. The Hall of Presidents may be going down for a refurbishment, and we're trying to figure out what's going on. And from what I've heard, this is a rumor, there may be a change in exactly what happens during the show.
So the rumor that I started was that it's going to become the Hall of Vice Presidents. It's sort of an educational theme thing. I don't know. Let's face it. Who really cares about Millard Fillmore these days? We're going to go with Vice Presidents. Go ahead.
Well, apparently, when the sitting president is talking, there are things that are going on. And one thing for sure is that I know that the last several times that Carol and I have ventured into that attraction, she has, I mean, I've got a welt on my right side from her digging her elbow in me while I'm snoring during the sitting president's speech. So what's going on is that there are jeers, there are snores, and so I believe that this is on the level. I'm hearing that they may change the attraction so that only Abraham Lincoln and maybe George Washington will be speaking after the refurbishment. But anyways, that spawned an idea. Gee, where else have I slept in Walt Disney World inside the park? So
George Washington and Mike Scopa slept here.
Exactly. So let's open it up and then see what we come up with.
All right, so let's start at the Magic Kingdom. Besides Hall of Presidents, which I think we have all napped in, has anyone not ever fallen asleep in Hall of Presidents? I remember one time I fell asleep with a strawberry, the strawberry frozen things. I fell asleep with one, and apparently I fell asleep mid-lick, so that when I woke up, it was literally frozen in my tongue, and I had to pull tissue off of my tongue to get it done. That's how tired I was. In that, I swear, I must be narcoleptic. I can sleep anywhere.
Okay, and it was really cold in there too because it didn't melt.
It's always cold in there. Yeah, yes. I know, it's freezing in there too. All right, so where else, Scopa? Where else have you fallen asleep in the Magic Kingdom?
Mickey's PhilharMagic. I've done that at Mouse Fest.
It's a 7-minute movie.
I know.
How did you fall asleep?
I don't know. It's just I was just tired. It was like probably the last.
Fest.
Well, yeah, it was probably the last night of Mouse Fest. I was probably there on a Sunday night. It just,
the Geritol PM was kicking in. I understand.
Yeah, exactly. So that was definitely another place. I've actually fallen asleep in the Tiki Room as well.
There's no other backs in the chairs. Yeah, you could probably do that.
But it's so loud in the Tiki Room. How can anyone sleep in there?
No, not really. Not in the morning, early morning, or late evening. It's not.
Really?
Oh my God! I've been in there where there's 15 or 20 people.
It's a great place to sleep in. The theater behind Tony's.
We should put that in the official guide.
It's the best place to sleep.
Exposition Hall. Yeah, this little 42 theater. Yeah, I mean the couple times that I knew it was good when I went in the first time and I saw mothers nursing their children there, and I figured, this has got to be a really relatively uncrowded spot because you wouldn't do that in public. And I mean, it turns out it's relatively quiet. It's dark. It's cool. You can go grab a snack. Get a little sugar buzz, then go nighty-night. Eliopolis, what about you?
In the caves on Tom Sawyer Island.
Have you really?
Wow. No, I'm kidding. Of course not.
I was gonna say, where would you?
It's dark and it's cool in there.
Yeah, but it smells of urine. I mean, it's difficult to. I mean, not that that's not like the average Howard Johnson's in Orlando, but.
Hey.
Dark damn smells of urine. Go ahead.
Besides getting kicked a few times, it's not so bad.
You could probably take a nap though at Aunt Polly's though. I know I've stretched out there a few times. I haven't managed to fall asleep. I consider that a failure on my part.
I've witnessed you sleeping, Len, in an attraction in Walt Disney World in Magic Kingdom. Do you remember where?
Country Bear.
Mouse Fest 2004.
I was exhausted. Oh man! And Country Bear's hard to fall asleep in because it's loud and the seating isn't that comfortable.
It was the Christmas show too.
I was exhausted. Yeah, that was just a long, long night. What about you, Newell?
I've actually fallen asleep on the TTA.
Wow.
Yes.
Only because it's so relaxing. That's one of the reasons.
10 minutes of dark, air-conditioned love. Exactly. Yes, that's very good.
And then right after that, you wake up and you cross over to the Carousel of Progress and you go to sleep again.
Yes.
Now is the time.
But that's and I fight so hard to stay awake because I love the Carousel of Progress. I'm not saying it's a bad attraction or anything or boring by any matter. But
you're just by the time you get to it though, whatever you're in the afternoon of your day.
Exactly.
You might as well just put on the anesthesia masks on you when you walk in there.
and my
so what's
couple
better?
Of deep breaths. It'll be over in a second.
Is it better to sit in the front row if you're gonna sleep, or in the back row? If you sleep in the back row, when you snore, everyone's gonna hear you. But if you sit up front, everyone's gonna see your head nodding.
Exactly. You're kind of like your head kind of lolling to the side, little drool thing coming out.
And then as it drops, you go, whoop! Oh no, I'm awake, everybody.
And the best scene is when he blows the fuse and the whole place turns pitch black. I'm out. I am so out. It is so fun.
That's classic. Annette, have you fallen asleep anywhere in Walt Disney World, in the Magic Kingdom?
I actually haven't, but I've come pretty close on the TTC before.
Yeah,
you ride it one or two times. Just taking a little break, you put your feet up, you get relaxed.
Mm-hmm. You get a Sprite.
Remember, if you look pathetic enough, they'll let you ride again without getting off.
Well, I obviously look pathetic enough a lot because I normally go 2 or 3 times in a row just to relax.
That's awesome. All right, let's switch over to Epcot, and I have a great story here. Back when we were doing data collection for Epcot for the touring plan software the first time, and I was enlisting my family because no sane person would do it otherwise. My brother got the assignment to do World Showcase, and that meant that he had to walk by every attraction and through every pavilion in World Showcase in 30 minutes. So he'd start in Mexico, work his way up through Norway, then to China, to Germany and Italy, and all the way around to Canada, and then head back to Mexico in 30 minutes so that he could get the time of El Rio del Tiempo. So, and I would check on them every half hour or so. I didn't hear from him for a couple hours, so I went where I knew he would be, because it was like at the top of an hour, and he was supposed to be at Mexico at El Rio, writing down the wait time. So I walk in, and he's not there, and I can't find him. And I'm walking around, and you guys know how when you walk into the Mexico Pavilion, into the giant pyramid, you walk past the craft stand, and right before you actually enter the back of the pavilion, there's like a ramp that goes down to the left a little bit. I'm standing on that right before. I'm sitting on the landing right before the ramp, and I'm looking around for my brother, and I don't see him. And I look down, and there's this bench right below me, right by an air conditioning vent, but behind all of the, remember they used to have clothing there? Behind all the clothing. So if you're standing on the floor of the pavilion, you can't see him. He is passed out on the bench. I'm not talking about like sleeping, standing up. He's like curled up in the little fetal position with using the unofficial guide as a pillow. He's asleep. His mouth is open. There's drool running down the side of his mouth. He's unshaven. He just looks exhausted and beat and shiny from sweat. I walk around and I have to like go through all the people, and I have to go behind this huge circular thing of, ponchos or something that they were selling. I'm like, dude, seriously, how long have you been here? He's like, what time is it? It's like, it's 2:30. And then he goes, what day is it?
Oh my God.
Awesome. He was great. Out cold. And last time I went by there, they had taken out the bench. But that is the most asleep I've ever seen any human being on it. I mean, he was into REM sleep. You could see his little eyes were fluttering. He was gone. It was classic. That is that was at one time a fabulous place to take a good nap. There's also I've fallen asleep. This is back before they had repurposed it for other use, but the gazebo at the United Kingdom in Epcot. Sometimes you go there in like September, October, November, and it's not too hot. It's just like pleasantly warm, and you get into the shade a little bit, and you kind of get away from the crowds. It's a little bit more quiet. You can definitely fall asleep there. That's another great spot to nap.
I'll just go on and jump out there and just say, after eating around the world, we decided to go to the Universe of Energy. If you want a good nap,
oh geez,
talk about
have a bench to yourself and just stretch out. It was the best nap I've ever had.
I really think that's why those seats aren't padded, so that they don't have to wake people up at the end of the ride.
Dinosaurs, explosions, it didn't matter. She was out like a light.
Good night. Good night. I'll see you all later. What about you, Scopa? Where have you fallen asleep in Epcot?
Oh, American Adventure, right up. I could be in the first row. Mark Twain could be blowing smoke in my face. I'm asleep.
you mean just like, wait, are we talking about the ride or when it really happened?
Just like we rehearsed it, Len. Both, really. Deja vu.
All over again.
Yeah.
While you slept soundly, Mr. Scopa.
Great one, Noel.
These glasses aren't rose-colored.
What about you? Where have you fallen asleep in Epcot?
The Ascent and Spaceship Earth. I've fallen asleep on the way up.
Ascent? Did you stagger in?
On the way up, it's totally before they did the changeover and they have the screen in there now. It takes your picture, but before that, on the way up, it's nice and dark and it's cool, and you lean back because you're on the ascent going up, and it's just like
But dude, you're like 15 seconds into the ride. I mean, you had to walk in, sit down, and go to sleep.
It happens.
Oh, I swear, there must have been a sharp blow to the head that you're not remembering there, because I don't know that anyone falls asleep that fast.
Yep. Oh, Mouse Fest we did.
This is sad. We're equating Mouse Fest with taking naps on the rides.
Well, also exhausted.
When you're up to 3, 4 in the morning, that's what happens.
Yeah.
See, I did it on the way down. They actually it broke down. Remember where the teacher and all that stuff was going on with the. It broke down, and we were going backwards. So me and the kids
at an incline.
Yeah, we were laying back. The whole family fell asleep, and then when it started to move, it jerked us awake, and we had a nice little rest.
At that point, it's like being on a giant lazy boy. At that point, yeah,
it was awesome.
Oh, dude, totally. What about Wonders of Life? I used to fall asleep in there all the time.
No.
Remember in the center part of the pavilion, they used to have those white benches that kind of went all the way around, and I would see people stretching out on that, again using unofficial guides as a pillow, and just sleeping their way through whatever it was that they.
You see, Len, you're missing out. The cover to the unofficial guide should be padded.
We need a padded cover. Exactly.
Everyone would buy it just for that.
I know we went with color photos this edition, but next edition we really need to think of Naugahyde. Yeah.
Down feathers.
Down feathers, exactly. Well, we could actually have multiple versions. We could have a foam version. We could have a goose feather version, and we could have like a little bean version of the guide. That'd be perfect.
That's great.
All right. Let's head over to the studios, and Hotchberg's not here, so I think we can safely say that every single ride.
We're having we fall asleep.
Star Wars weekends. Enough said.
Ah, God. I've fallen asleep on the Great Movie Ride before.
Who hasn't?
Who exactly? I think this is going to be a little love fest for the studio show. I actually fell asleep too. This last time we were there in May, I fell asleep in sitting down Indian style in Playhouse Disney.
Yep.
What?
I was out. I was like, so I had my legs crossed. I had my elbows down on my knees. I was holding my head in the palms of my hand, and I fell asleep just like that for about 3 or 4 minutes.
No little kids around you waking you up?
No, they were all over, and that was the thing. I just managed to tune it out. I was exhausted.
Muppets.
Playhouse Disney.
Muppets.
Yeah. Animation.
Sounds dangerously.
Oh my God!
Yeah.
Sounds dangerous.
Sounds dangerous. We actually put that in this edition of the book. We said sounds dangerous. Don't put the headphones on.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then it's just dark.
And it's dark and it's cool.
It's dark
and no one can hear you snore.
That's right.
Voyage of the Little Mermaid.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's not bad either.
I have. Yep.
What rides haven't we fallen asleep on? I guess Tower of Terror, Rock and Roller Coaster. That would be dangerous if you fell asleep on that.
You break your neck, yeah.
You'd have a sleep disorder if you fell asleep that way.
Tower of Terror.
Classic. Is there anything else at the studios that we haven't fallen asleep on? Lights, motor, action, but only because the seats are so damn uncomfortable.
But man, you're exhausted once you get to your seat, aren't you?
That's a hike up there too. I mean, do they give out oxygen halfway up? All right, cool. All right, let's go over to the Animal Kingdom. In the Animal Kingdom, good places to take a nap include. I like the little walkway between Asia and Africa. There's little cutout places with the seats. You could definitely nap there. No? Am I the only one?
I think so. Yeah.
Where else in the Animal Kingdom is there to nap? You could Pocahontas. That's gone now.
I was gonna say Pocahontas.
Yeah, you have anywhere in that area too. We can't mini Mickey. There's nothing really going on.
Dino
Festival of Lion King, but it's too annoying.
Loud.
Yeah, I meant to say loud, not annoying. I actually like the show quite a bit. What about Tree of Life? They poke you. There's
the smells.
It's too much keeping you awake.
Yeah, it's too much keeping you awake there. What about
Wild though? Finding Nemo. Depending on when you get there.
That's the thing. You go to one of those 3 o'clock shows, especially if there's a technical issue or two, you could be totally asleep in that because that's a 35-minute show. I think that's definitely. But maybe that's it. Maybe people don't spend enough time at the Animal Kingdom to actually get tired enough to take a nap.
Dinosaur?
Yeah, dinosaur I could do it. You know how you could totally do it is if you kind of load up on a protein meal over at Flame Tree Barbecue. You just bulk up on some brisket and stuff and then just stretch out in the sun. I'm sleepy just thinking about it. No one besides me has ever fallen asleep in the.
I can't.
Maybe you guys aren't on the same painkillers that I am. That's what I'm thinking.
I don't think, like you said, I'm not there that long in order to fall asleep.
no one's there long enough to take a nap.
And it's so hot. It's so hot to me.
Yeah. Now, where I have fallen asleep too, and it's not in the Animal Kingdom itself, but in the Animal Kingdom Lodge, there's that little place on the second floor. It's like a little library.
On the left-hand side as you walk.
Left-hand side, exactly. Left-hand side towards the back. You can go out and stand on the veranda there. But if you sit in the chairs, in the morning, the sun will actually hit you on the will hit you on the legs if you're sitting in the chair, and it warms you up just enough to pass out. Especially if you got up at 3 o'clock in the morning, like I do, to go catch an early morning flight. You get in, you're waiting for your hotel room to open up. Sit in one of the chairs. Again, especially after eating at the Animal Kingdom itself. You sleep for a good 30, 35 minutes, wake up completely refreshed, wipe the drool off your face, and go back out to the parks again. You know where it's really hard to sleep at, though, in terms of resorts? Is the Grand Floridian.
Oh, because somebody's always playing a stupid piano.
I'm like, why can't I just shut up and let me rest? Funny.
Amazing. People don't think they're supposed to sleep in the lobby.
I don't know.
You mean you think they say they think they do, or they think they don't? They don't.
Well, they've got all that going on. Are they really?
That's too much.
Anybody's going to try to nap?
Although on the second floor of the Grand Floridian, back and to the left, there's a little area right by where they have the DVC stand. Right before that, so before you get to the shops, there's a little cutout or nook area that has a few chairs that you can definitely pass out on. It's a couch and 4 chairs around a coffee table. Fabulous if you can get there early enough, because by late morning it's already taken by people who are exhausted. So what other resorts are good to sleep at? Animal Kingdom Lodge, we said, fabulous.
How about Wilderness Lodge in front of the fireplace and one of those nice rocking chairs?
I've never been there during winter and sat down. Is that good?
Actually, even better. If you walk up the stairs in the back or in the front, there are certain alcoves where you can just snuggle in and take a nice nap. I've done that.
Really?
Yeah.
How many days can you stay there before they start to get mad?
Last time I checked, it was 27.
I mean, guys talk. You hear things. I wasn't,
I think in the yacht club they have like a little solarium which is off to the side and out of the main lobby, and that's pretty quiet in there. Nobody goes in there, so that's a nice little spot to sit and catch some Z's.
Oh, good idea. Good idea. And have you tried that?
I worked there while I was down there. I ran in there and there was nobody in there, so I could have just fallen asleep on my keyboard and nobody would have noticed.
Fabulous. Well, that does it for us today. This has been episode 465 of Walt Disney World Today. For Mike Newell, Mike Scopa, the fabulous Annette Owens, and Chris Eliopoulos, I am Len Testa. We will see you on the next show.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio.